We will have high school basketball tonight in just about 12 minutes or so at Hillcrest High School. The JV game went to Glendale 54-48. And in the varsity contest tonight, the Hornets and the Falcons hooking up, with Hillcrest coming in at 4-11 and 1-2 in the Ozark Conference. Glendale 11-4 and 2-0. Hillcrest with losses to Parkview and Kickapoo in the conference. The Parkview game, a rematch of that game we had out here that stayed in the 20s a couple of weeks ago, and then a win against Rolla in the conference to get their first league win, Mike.
Hillcrest, as you said, Don, losing by 30 January 3rd in their conference opener to Kickapoo, 69-39. The following week, January 10th, a home win over Rolla, 80-49. The 80 points representing a season high for the Hornets, a ball club averaging just 48 points per game. And then the three-point overtime loss at Parkview last Thursday, 45-42, as Sean Williamson. Get a good look at him, and now his second season at Glendale, coming off a 23-5 campaign a year ago.
His team is 2-0 in Ozark Conference play. They beat Waynesville a week ago, and they haven't played in a week since last Tuesday. Beat Waynesville at home. They won on the road at Lebanon back on January 3rd. And the Falcons off and running in conference play.
The win at Lebanon was a 30-point win, 84-54. The 84 points representing a season high for the Falcons, who are averaging 66 points per game offensively. And then they struggled a little bit against Waynesville last week, 60-56. But that Waynesville ball club, not too bad. Record ran 11-3, 11-4. Pretty good basketball team. Yeah,
they could be about the 3 seed in that district right now if you seeded it today. Glendale and Hillcrest both in the district that will be at Glendale. And if you did seed it today, Mike, and district seedings aren't for about 2 or 3 more weeks, but Glendale probably the number 1, with West Plains and Waynesville fighting it out for the 2 and 3 spots, and then probably Hillcrest around the 4 seed.
Which would leave Rolla 5 and Lebanon at 6 if they seed it today, but they won't. They'll wait a few weeks.
There are some events coming up between now and then, and one of them is a big tournament that's coming up at Glendale this coming weekend. It's the St. John's Eye Specialists Winter Classic at Glendale High School, and there will be 8 teams in that. Here's a look at the bracket, the way it'll shape up on Thursday night. All the games out at Glendale. Teams coming in, several from Kansas, as you'll see. Poplar Bluff against Shawnee Mission West. That's 4 o'clock on Thursday. 5:30, another Kansas team, Leavenworth, a team that Glendale visited for a tournament earlier this year already, will take on St. Louis Beaumont. The Falcons meet Wyandotte, Kansas at 7, and Shawnee Mission East against Warrensburg at 8:30, with winners playing winners, losers playing losers on Friday, and Saturday a daytime event out at Glendale that'll wrap up around 5 o'clock with a championship game starting at 3:30.
That 4 o'clock game with Poplar Bluff, the Poplar Bluff Mules, featuring Ben Hansbrough, the younger brother of Tyler Hansbrough. Tyler, of course, at North Carolina. Ben already signing with Mississippi State, so he'll be in the Southeastern Conference for his collegiate career. Shawnee Mission East, a top 10 team in Kansas Class 6A, with a familiar head coach. Sean Hare, in his 10th year already at that school, was a head coach at Ozark and Branson before moving up into the Kansas City area.
And Warrensburg playing them. Glendale gets Wyandotte, Kansas. And the rest of the, what else you got on that?
St. Louis Beaumont, the Blue Jackets, under Coach Richard Hamilton, will be making a trip down Interstate 44. They're a ball club making their first visit to Springfield in quite a while. They lost last year to Vashon, only 62-54, and of course we know how good Vashon is with their TFC victory this past weekend.
That's
plus
when
the state runner-up finished to Poplar Bluff last March.
That's when they were ranked number 1 in the country at the time, too, wasn't it?
Yes,
and only an 8-point loss for Beaumont last season.
Leavenworth, Kansas, the Pioneers were 7-1 at one time this season. There'll be a team coming down. Kansas City, Kansas. Wyandotte will actually be the team that Glendale plays first on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. They had a 1970 state championship team coached by Donald Upson. In his only season as head coach, went 24-0.
One year.
1 year, went undefeated. What else is there to do? You retire after going 24-0.
Sounds kind of like Jerry Kirksey at Drury almost.
And Warrensburg and Missouri Ball Club will play Shawnee Mission East in the final game Thursday at 8:30. The Warrensburg Tigers at one time ranked 9th in Missouri Class 4 under a first-year head coach in Chris Nimmo. So should be a great tournament, the first ever one at Glendale, the Winter Classic that will be Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
And another big part of that is that the entire tournament is going to be broadcast on the internet at a website called prepcasts.com. That's plural, prepcasts.com. You can tune in and catch that entire tournament this coming Thursday, Friday, Saturday from Glendale High School.
But first things first, it's Ozark Conference action tonight. That is the prime focus for Ryan Shaw and Sean Williamson in about 7.5 minutes.
And the Hornets again 1-2 in Ozark Conference play, and Glendale is 2-0.
Don, you look at some of the teams that Glendale has played. They have played several out-of-state schools. They went up to the Leavenworth, Kansas tournament, lost to Topeka Highland Park, followed it up with wins over Lawrence, Kansas Free State High School and Kansas City, Washington. They played in the Neosho tournament over Christmas, defeated Monette, lost to Huntsville, Arkansas, lost to Columbia Hickman. That's a team they beat up in Columbia on November 29th, so Hickman avenging an earlier loss, and then they beat Springdale, Arkansas for 9th place. So Glendale, you look at their schedule, we talked about the great schedule Hillcrest has played. Glendale has really traveled to most of their ball games. We said it's their 16th game. They've only played 2 games at home.
And that was a 16-team field in Neosho, and they finished in the number 9 spot. Well, we'll take a timeout here from Hillcrest. When we come back, the starting lineups and the opening tip. Glendale and Hillcrest next on the Mediacom Connections channel. Don West with Mike McClure live at Hillcrest High School. The Hornets and the Falcons getting set to go at it. You get the feeling, Mike, that this game is going to be more competitive than a team that's 11-4 against a team that's 4-11.
Absolutely, especially the fact that Hillcrest playing on their home floor with an excited crowd ready to watch a good basketball game this evening.
Here's a look at how they'll start out. Glendale will go with Thad Hanna and Scott Burrows. They're both 6'2" at the forward spots, and a 3-guard set of Tristan Steele, Bobby Duncan, and Spud Harbor. And on the Hillcrest side, Blake Wixon at 6'5" and Jason Wood at 6'4" will have a decided height advantage. In the guards, Derek Majors, Miguel Kobayashi, and Blake Hansen. We've seen the Hornets a couple of times out here, most recently against Kickapoo, a game that did not go well for the Hornets. Sean Williamson, a former Nixa Eagle in his playing days in the mid-'80s, and Ryan Shaw now in his 3rd year at Hillcrest, 31 and 37, 5 years at Warrenton, and he just recently got career win number 100, sitting at 198 overall. And Sean Williamson, 2nd year at Glendale after departing a successful stint at Willard High School.
The amazing stat about Glendale, only 2 losing seasons in their 43-year history, and looks like that will continue again as they're off to an 11-4 start after 15 games. And Sean Williamson, just the 4th ever coach they've had. Jack Roberts from 1963 through 84, Mike Keltner 1984 through 1999, Steve Hesser from 1999 through 2004, and now Sean Williamson in his 2nd year. Not bad, 34 wins, 9 losses, his career numbers after 1+ seasons. A player that I'm looking forward to see tonight for Glendale, Spud Harbor, 3 of his last 6 games scoring over 20 points, had 22 against Waynesville, 22 against Lebanon, 20 against Jefferson City as they made a trip up to Columbia to play in the MFA shootout on January 8th. They lost to the Jays, however, 58-47.
We will take a timeout, be back with the opening tip from Hillcrest High School as the Glendale Falcons pay a visit. The lineup's being announced to the crowd. A good turnout of students on both sides tonight for the Hornets and the Falcons, only meeting of the regular season.
Don, 2 teams, similar defensive numbers. Hillcrest giving up an average of 56 points per game, Glendale 59 points per game. The big difference is the offensive numbers. Glendale averaging 66 points, Hillcrest only 48 points. Hillcrest is going to have to find a way to make some shots tonight and limit Glendale's number of 3-point attempts. Hillcrest will have to shoot, not necessarily lights out, but they'll have to shoot a high percentage against the Falcons.
The officials are Brent Baldwin, Tim McKnight, and Jim Lawrence. Glendale in blue, Hillcrest in white. The Hornets control the tap, and here comes Blake Hansen. So Glendale would like a game that gets into the 60s or 70s. Blake Wixon gets the Hornets on the board. A guy coming off of shoulder surgery. On the other end, the drive for Tristan Steele. who came into the program from the state of Georgia. Hornet ball.
Tristan Steele, good look at him, has been in double-figure scoring 3 of his last 5 ball games. The junior averaging 8 points per ball game.
This is Jason Wood for the dunk. Where did that come from? Well, that'll get the team and the crowd fired up, and now an offensive foul on Scott Burrows will give the Hornets early momentum and possession.
And quickly, Maurice Starks, a 6'2 senior, in for Glendale. Here is the dunk by Jason Wood. Strong to the rack, and then a great job of drawing the charge as Scott Burrows picks up his first for the Falcons.
Derek Majors, the Hornets' leading scorer at 12.4 a game. Foul out front, whistled by Jim Lawrence. Will give the ball to the Falcons.
Miguel Kobayashi got his feet tangled up with a Glendale defender, and Kobayashi picks up his first personal foul.
A minute in, this is fun already. Block from behind from Blake Wixon. So Hillcrest is doing a lot of things right in the early going. They'll inbound underneath.
Here's George Rosenberry into the Glendale lineup, a 5'10 senior, averaging 7 points per game off the bench.
Majors inbounds. Wixon bangs it too hard off the glass, out of bounds to the Falcons.
Wixon didn't start seeing action until the blue and gold tournament. We said the wins over Marshfield and Mount Vernon.
Maurice Starks in the game for Glendale as well. Starks will pick it up and kick it back out. Over the top, a 3 try. Off the mark for Spud Harbor. It comes back out long. And this one down for Harbor.
35% shooter from three-point range. That is his 30th 3 of the year. That leads the Falcons.
Glendale's first lead of the night, 2 minutes in. Majors encounters the defense, finds Wixon, who's off from long range. Glendale quickly ahead. Looking to reel off 5 or 6 straight here. Starks for 3.
Averages 11 points per game off the bench. Has sometimes been a starter, a 50% shooter from the field this year.
Suddenly Glendale up 8-4, and the Falcons have scored 6 straight on the pair of threes from Harbor and Starks. Hansen goes for the answer, and he has the 3.
Hansen seems to play well in our televised games. The senior averaging 9 points per game knocks down the triple.
Scott Burrows goes to work on Kobayashi. He got an early foul and may have a second foul. That is number 2 on Miguel Kobayashi.
You can see the hack there. So Kobayashi to the bench, and Brock Schaefer, a 5'9 freshman who had a big ball game 2 games ago, 17 points off the bench against Rolla, his season high.
And Kobayashi had foul trouble in our Kickapoo game here too, with 3 in the first half. In pretty quick order. Out of bounds to the Hornets. First quarter action for Hillcrest. Glendale an 8-7 lead at the start. Here's the freshman Brock Schaefer. And Majors will work it and find Schaefer again. Good pass across the lane, and Jason Wood gets the bucket for the lead.
Pretty pass from Derek Majors, the bounce pass across the paint.
So the Hornets answer with 5 in a row. The drive and the foul. Michael Frazier off of Sean Williamson's bench at 6'5".
Wixon got him from behind with the foul. His first, and the first trip to the free throw line for Michael Frazier, just a 31% free throw shooter this year.
More subs for Sean Williamson. Bobby Duncan back into the lineup. So is Thad Hanna.
Frazier now 5 for 17 from the free throw line.
Does he look like Stephen Hill?
Yeah.
A miniature Stephen Hill? Misses both. That will go on Duncan.
The hand check foul called by referee Jim Lawrence.
Glendale, just an exciting season last year, 23-5 with nobody over 6'2".
I'm telling you, basketball is all about guards.
A long one for Derek Majors. And the Hornets have it, put 8 in a row on the board. Steele leaves it short, and Blake Hansen pulls it down. I think that solid start did a lot for Hillcrest.
The dunk especially early really got the crowd into it.
Blake Wixon fouled. I think it's on the floor. It is on Tristan Steele, and it will go underneath.
And didn't have his feet set on the dribble drive by Wixon. What a difference he's made against shoulder surgery in August. Didn't get into the lineup until the start of the blue and gold tournament, December 26th.
Oh, clean takeaway. And Harbor with the layup, and he missed it. But it's banked in by Tristan Steele.
Great hustle on the part of Steele, because you just assume that kids are going to make those layups. Steele didn't assume that, and he was there for a rebounding position.
Wixon and Schaefer on the left side of the floor for the Hillcrest Hornets. Majors short from 3, but it'll come right back to him. And out to Hansen from 3. The Hornets are hitting. Duncan leaves it out for Steele, and that's a 2 that circles off. So in just 6 minutes, Hillcrest has put 15 on the board, which would translate to not quite double their season average, but not too far from it. Inside, knocked out. Hillcrest will keep it, with Maurice Starks and George Rosenberry returning.
Hillcrest will counter with Aaron Allen, a 5'10 senior, making his first appearance.
Allen will inbound. Wixon has it stripped by Rosenberry, but recovered by Aaron Allen. Wixon up and over, but not in. Rosenberry wanting it over in the corner, but they couldn't find him. And Hanna will kick it out to a good 3-shooter in George Rosenberry. He gets it beyond 3, but will take it low, and the foul is Thad Hanna. got good position underneath.
Great pass from George Rosenberry. And Thad Hanna will make his first trip to the free throw line, just a 59% foul shooter. Glendale as a team this year, 66% from the stripe.
So we just haven't seen the ones that are the best shooters yet.
Nope.
Hanna will put it down. Steele is in, and so is Justin Bear for Glendale, wearing 11. There's Majors returning for the Hornets. And just 1 of 2 for Hanna, and Starks on the back. So team fouls will be even at 4 apiece in the final minute of the first quarter.
A person that Hillcrest will need to keep off the free throw line for Glendale is Spud Harbor, hitting 84% this year.
Justin Bear gets off the bench and makes a splash.
Telegraphed pass, and Bear was right there to pick it off, and conversely got the easy layup.
Now 30 seconds for the Hornets. Majors knocks in the 3. That went with 2 on that. So 17-13. Starks high off the iron with 9 seconds. Time for the Hornets as Majors spots the clock. He'll fade away and miss, and that one wouldn't count anyway. An exciting first quarter at Hillcrest, and the Hornets have a 17-13 lead. Hillcrest with a 17-13 lead over Glendale as we start the second. And here is Mike McClure.
Don, thank you very much. What a wild first 8 minutes. Glendale basketball to start the second, and quickly a turnover as the ball stolen away by Josh Light. Majors with a hot hand in the first quarter. The iron not kind. Hornets will keep it as it's tipped out by Glendale.
So Josh Light, wearing 30 for the Hornets in white, the football quarterback who suffered a broken thumb during the football season.
Blake Hansen on the dribble drive. He's listed at 6'1". That might be pushing it an inch or 2.
You think?
3. Second personal foul on Bobby Duncan for Glendale. Nice move inside by Jason Wood. Wood was 6 in the first half. And the Hornets by half a dozen. Their biggest lead of the ball game. Duncan in the middle of the lane.
That was a nice cut and a good look to see him there.
Bobby Duncan only averaging 3 points per game. Has 2 to go with his 2 personal fouls. Wood cut off on the baseline. Nice dish to Light. Josh Light, season high of 6 against Kickapoo and Rolla with his first 2 of the night. Straight on 3 by Steele, too strong. Falcons get it back. Burrows misses from point blank range, but gets it back, puts it up and in. And that's the first 2 of the night for Scott Burrows on an 11-point per game average. Ball stolen by Tristan Steele. And the finger roll gives him 6. So turnovers haunting the Hornets as right back in it by the Glendale Falcons.
Well, that's a foul there, but another long, dangerous pass that they're going to end up getting away with as Hanna gets whistled for his first foul. Hillcrest cannot afford many mistakes. Yeah, they're still ahead, but they are the underdog in this game. They're on their home floor. They've got to protect it.
Blake Wixon back in for Hillcrest. George Rosenberry checking back in for Glendale.
Clock's not running again. How many times are we going to get this year?
Majors to Wood. And now they have it going. Nice pump fake inside by Wixon. Kobayashi loses it, and Glendale with numbers the other way. Oh, great bounce pass to Rosenberry.
No looker that time from Spud Harbor.
Second tie of the game, this one at 21 all. So, nice job by Glendale, overcoming the 6-point deficit. Off the mark is Majors, and a foul called by Tim McKnight.
You got to stop worrying about the officiating if you're these Falcon players and just play the game. And am I the only one that noticed? Did anyone talk about this today? In the Mizzou-Kansas game last night, in that last sequence, the clock didn't start for about a full second. Did you notice that? None of that would have happened if not for that 1 second. The missed free throws at the end, Mizzou would have won it. I seriously didn't hear anyone talk about that today. Has it come up?
No, but I
you
saw
noticed it
too. That's the 7th team foul, first personal foul on Rosenberry, so Hillcrest to the line for the first time in the first half. Wixon has it circle off. 71% free throw shooter, couldn't get it down the well. Glendale in search of their first lead of the second quarter. With the left hand, Burrows missed it. Both teams have strung together long runs here in the first half. Glendale had an 8-4 lead. Hillcrest going on an 11-2 run to go up 15-10. The lead grew to as many as 6 at 19-13 before the rally by the Falcons. Wixon misfires. Deep three by Majors.
He's the guy that's got to keep you in it and hit those shots when he's open.
2 threes and a deuce for Majors. 8 points in the first half. Harbor, too strong. Majors to Hansen. Oh, great dish back to Wixon, and one. Look at the pass again by Hansen, and Wixon with the basket and the foul. Second personal foul on George Rosenberry. So Justin Bear back in for the Falcons. Josh Light in for the Hornets.
Kobayashi got in briefly with 2 fouls and stayed that way.
Wixon to try and complete the old-fashioned three-point play, he will. He has 5 in the first half. Well, again, the game of runs. 6-0 run now by Hillcrest to match their biggest lead of the game. Harbor, short.
Ooh.
Push off by Hansen that wasn't called. Majors down the lane to Hansen. Wixon trying to post up on the shorter Justin Bear. Majors guarded by Rosenberry. It's the longest either team's held it in the first half. Wixon rejected. Gets it back to Wood for 2.
That was Starks with the block, and then it could have been a body foul on him there too. Wood tried to get it.
8-0 run by the Hornets. Halfway through the second quarter.
This is not the same team we saw play Kickapoo or Parkview.
Starks misfires, a 1 and out. Wixon on the rebound.
They look infinitely better than they did when they got beat by 30 by Kickapoo here. And scored 22 against Parkview.
But their tenacity reminds me of when they play Parkview. Hansen. Turn on the TV cameras and Blake Hansen shows up.
That's a 10-0 run for Hillcrest. And a 30 called by Sean. No, actually a full called by Sean.
Full timeout. Watch the, he just, from a bad angle, got it to go down. Trying to draw some contact, no whistles. And Blake Hansen with 8 points here in the first half.
So 3:17 to go in the first half.
We have halftime galore tonight, by the way, not only with your special guest, but we have a former Harlem Globetrotter that will be performing at halftime.
Larry Gator Rivers will be here to promote the Globetrotters' upcoming appearance at Hammond Student Center, which they do about every year, and we'll continue our 25th anniversary celebration tonight with a special guest who used to run the court here at Hillcrest. Mark Bybee is here tonight to talk about one of the biggest maybe single shots or single moments in the history of our coverage. It was in 1992, and we're going to show it to you at halftime tonight.
You've dug deep into the files for this one. Wow, 13, 14 years ago. Well, the bleeding has to stop for Glendale. The 10-0 run by Hillcrest, 31-21 Hornets. Falcon basketball coming out of the timeout. Deep three, Harbor. Missed it short. The long rebound is pushed out to Light, and Wisely holds it up. Whoever tipped it out to Light, great play, because Light may have had an open layup. Short is Hanson. Spud Harbor trying to ignite the offense as the ball poked out by Blake Wixon. Hillcrest just 1-6 at home this year. The leader for Starks, who has 5 points.
They got that conference win against Rolla, but other than that, a couple of wins in the blue and gold and a win in St. Louis against Sumner in a tournament up there.
Hillcrest unseeded in the blue and gold, knocked off 6th seed Marshfield, 3rd seed Mount Vernon before losing to 2nd seed Ozark and 4th seed Mountain Grove for the 3rd place game. The jumper by Majors, no good. A rebound to the Falcons.
Here comes another run, it looks like, if Glendale can string something together here.
Nice job inside by Justin Bear. Little pump fake to draw the Hornets into the air, and Bear with 4. A 53% shooter from the field. Down to a 2-possession game, 31-25. Hornets by 6 with the basketball. Minute 40 to go before halftime. Hanson with the wraparound. Is it touched by Glendale?
I thought it was. They're going to get together.
Tim McKnight, Brent Baldwin talking it over.
All right, more help from Jim Lawrence. Oh, it's going to go to a tie-up.
Yep. If nobody saw it, you can't make up a call. Sean Williamson not happy.
I thought I saw a deflection in there, but I would have had to have asked for help too. So it'll go to the arrow.
Brock Schaefer wanted to go inside to Wood. And this one clearly poked out by the Falcons. Wood was open for just a second. Again, Hillcrest only averaging 48 points per game. They have 31 here with 95 seconds to go in the first half. Wixon at the foul line. Deep three, Hanson. Blake Hanson in double figures with 11. His season high 16 against Mount Vernon. Spud Harbor gets it back in traffic. Goes underneath the basket, no good. And the rebound to Light. That one was forced. Will Ryan Shaw try and hold it for the last minute with a 9-point cushion, 34-25. They're going to take a layup and force Glendale to come out and play defense. Falcons in there man-to-man. Steele trying to stay up with Blake Hanson. Trying to get a 5-second count. Almost got one. Wixon rejected. Great defense by Starks. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Hillcrest.
Second big-time block of the half for Starks, and now he'll get the rest of the half off with 30 seconds left.
Watch the replay. Starks was beaten, but had those long arms and swatted it away. Bobby Duncan back in for the Falcons. And Jeff Mason, a 6'2 junior, in as well for Glendale. Rosenberry, open three, Burrows, no good. Strong rebound by Wixon with 15 seconds. Well, the Hornets, at worst, should take a 9-point lead into the locker room. It might be double digits if they can score here in the last 6 seconds.
Oh, what is that? Oh, man!
That was a prayer almost answered by Jason Wood with his back to the basket, a long way from the basket, flipped it up, it hit iron, but didn't go in. Well, we're at halftime. Hillcrest leading Glendale 34-25.
This has been a fun half of basketball tonight at Hillcrest High School, and the Hornets leading at 34-25 over Glendale. It was 21-all getting late in the second quarter. Hillcrest goes on a 10-0 run and then closes it with pretty much an even keel, and Hillcrest goes in with a 9-point lead. And here is Larry Gator Rivers on the floor, entertaining fans and promoting the upcoming appearance of the Harlem Globetrotters.
These kids are just they're just in awe of what Gator Rivers does with this basketball. Practice, practice, practice.
That's right. Scoring in this game in the first half, and Hillcrest got some good balance and good numbers. 11 from Blake Hansen with 3 threes. Derek Majors and Jason Wood with 8 points apiece. Blake Wixon had 5. Josh Light with 2. And on the Glendale side, Tristan Steele with 6 points. Maurice Starks with 5. Justin Bear 4 off the bench. Spud Harbor 3. Bobby Duncan, Scott Burrows, and George Rosenberry 2 each. And Thad Hanna with 1 free throw. Yep. Just now catching my breath after that. That was a lot of fun to watch.
Tremendous runs. The 11-2 run when Hillcrest was down 8-4 to go up 15-10, and then after the Falcons tied it at 21 for Hillcrest to go on that 10-0 run to go up 31-21. Some offensive numbers we've seen from Hillcrest that really we haven't seen this year. They showed a lot in the first half.
Let's look at some of it and see just what happened. A lot of threes were going in the first half of this game. And here's the dunk that kind of got it all started for Hillcrest. Jason Wood early on to get the fans involved.
And then here is Spud Harbor with his only 3-point basket of the half. That's his only points of the first half. The young man averaging 18 points per ball game.
This is Derek Majors. Right. He had a couple of threes and 8 total. Majors having it stripped away by Spud Harbor. Now this is a layup he misses, but it's followed up.
Good hustle there by Tristan Steele, and then another steal by Bear right inside from point-blank range for an easy deuce. Hansen with that off-balance shot to go. Hansen with 11 here in the first half, and there, if that had gone in, it may have been the shot of the year. His back to the basket, about 14 feet away, not realizing exactly how much time was left.
Jason Wood there that time with almost a play of the week. We will take a timeout, and we'll dig back into the past here at Hillcrest High School with Mark Bybee when we come back at halftime right after this. Larry Gator Rivers continues to entertain folks here at halftime, a former Harlem Globetrotters. The Hornets lead over Glendale 34-25. A pleasure to have with us here at halftime a former Hornet who had one of the more memorable shots in the history of our coverage on TV in 1992. Mark Bybee is here. Thanks for coming out. Your karma is filling the Hillcrest gym tonight. They've got a nice lead.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good tonight. Pretty impressive.
So you were of the class of what, 1993? Your senior year?
93. That's right.
And what we're going to see tonight came from the 1992 season when you guys were really good under Coach Nate Quinn. You and Parkview were squaring off right after the holiday tournaments. You were coming off of a nice win over Willard in the blue and gold, right?
Yep, that's right. And we were both, if I remember correctly, we were both undefeated, and I think even ranked in the state at this point.
Yeah, Parkview at least was ranked 7th in the state. You guys weren't quite getting the respect yet, but Hillcrest at the time was 9-0, and you had to go over to the Parkview gym and take them on, and it was a very, very much of a hyped game with 2 undefeated teams. What do you remember about it?
I just remember it was a hard-fought battle all the way through. Two good games, 2 good teams playing hard the whole way, and we I just took it down to the very end, and I was lucky enough to put it in at the very end.
Now, to set this whole thing up, it was Hillcrest leading by 3 after 3 quarters in this game, and then Parkview came back to tie it up at 52, and there was a tie at 54, 56, and 58. Donnie Young had just made 2 free throws for Parkview to tie the game at 58, and after a timeout, the Hornets came out with the ball and the length of the court to go, and here's what it looked like on January 3rd, 1992. Hillcrest ball, length of the floor to go in 5 seconds.
With their speed, it can be done relatively easily. And now they go with the smaller lineup into that. Barnett cleared all the way at the underneath and under the basket. They'll have Scott with the inbounds pass and have Bybee, Blanchett, and Andrews to run the floor. Can't find three faster guys. And the Vikings are going to man up.
Where are we? There we are. Scott can do that since it's after a basket. With 4, with 3, here comes Barnett. Bybee for the win! Pull up 15-footer left wing for the win. We were cable 20 and Mark Bybee doing it. Brock Blanchett has talked to me a little bit about this too. He said he was supposed to be the guy to take the shot.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. They set it up for Blanchett. Everybody ran to Andrews, and luckily I didn't know it was coming, or else I probably would have choked. So,
Mark, give us an idea of what you're up to now.
I'm a commercial lender with Commerce Bank here in Springfield.
Yeah, I saw your nameplate the other day, Vice President.
Yep.
But not a bad gig.
Not a bad gig. Things are going well. Got a family, got a wife, got married 7 years ago. Got 2 little kids, a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
All right.
So I got little Bybee coming on the way, hopefully.
Outstanding. What did you end up doing after high school?
Out of high school, I went to Labette to play basketball. Actually transferred back to SBU. Ended up playing baseball there, pitching for 3 years, and had a lot of fun doing that. Played with some friends from high school, so it went really well for me.
And since then, you got hooked up with Commerce Bank. What'd you do in between? Anything leading up to that?
Right out of college, I actually went to work for Mercantile, then through the mergers, went to Commerce about 3 years ago. Been there ever since, and having a great time.
What'd the rest of that '92 season end up like for you guys? Because you guys were really a good team then.
Yeah, we had a great year. We ended up undefeated in conference, went 10-0. Got into sectionals, and we played Kickapoo in sectionals, which we'd beaten them twice that year. But unfortunately, they beat us when it counted.
That was at Bolivar?
That was at Bolivar. They sent us home 26-2 on the year. Had a great year, but we would have liked to finish, obviously, with a little bit better than we did. But had a great time. We had a great team. Guys loved to play hard, and we got along well together. So it was great memories.
I believe that ended up the best winning percentage in school history, too. The Hillcrest won state back in 1984, but they lost like 7 games on their way to that. But you guys, just 2 losses and 26 wins.
Yep. Pretty proud of it. Had a lot of fun. Good memories.
What was '93 like for you your senior year?
'93 was down. I think we were 17 or 18-12 or so. We played for the conference championship against Glendale and lost the last game of that year, and then lost to Waynesville in sectionals. So it was a little bit down compared to the previous year, but still pretty good year.
Now, Brock Blanchett is an assistant coach at Nixa now. Some of the rest of the cast of characters on that team. Eric Andrews, and who else was there?
Darren Scott. Kelly Anderson, who I saw over here tonight.
Is he here tonight?
He is here tonight. Robbie Montgomery.
Yeah.
Curtis Barnett, I think you mentioned him. Darren Scott, Brock Blanchett, Eric Andrews.
Pretty much covers it.
That's pretty much probably the 7 starters there.
You keep up with any of those guys?
Yeah, I played golf with Eric Andrews a couple times this year. I see him all around town every once in a while. So.
All right. Give him our best. Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having me out. Appreciate it.
Mark Bybee with us with some memories from 1992. We'll be back with second half action at Hillcrest right after this. Well, Mark Bybee back to the stands after joining us at halftime. Want to make sure we give credit where credit is due and tell you that Ed Beach was working with me on that game, January 3rd, 1992. Now doing Evangel University basketball. Man, the memories we brought back this year with this 25th anniversary, they keep getting better.
We're not done yet, are we?
No, we're not done.
More surprises in the month of February, perhaps, especially come district tournament time.
More people to to dig up and bring out here to to our coverage. Well, we won't have a high school game until 2 weeks from Thursday when the calendar hits February, on the night of February the 2nd, Groundhog Night, I guess. And the Parkview Lady Vikings and the Kickapoo Lady Chiefs will be our next high school game. But there's plenty of Missouri State Bears action between now and then, starting this Thursday night at 7 o'clock with the Bears at home against the Southern Illinois Salukis, a team coming off of a double overtime loss at the hands of Northern Iowa last night.
That's probably not necessarily a bad thing as far as the Missouri Valley Conference standings go, but at the same time, you know Southern Illinois wants to make amends for that loss. That should be a terrific atmosphere Thursday night at Hammond Center.
We'll have the broadcast Thursday night at 7. We've got several high school games still to go in the month of February. We'll see the Kickapoo girls a couple of times. That game we just showed you against Parkview, and then at Glendale the following Monday, February 6th. On Wednesday the 8th will be our next boys game, and that'll be the Glendale Kickapoo matchup, which will be at Drury University. Mike will be along to join us for that game. We'll head out to Marshfield on Valentine's night for COC action with the Willard Tigers and the Marshfield Blue Jays, and then we'll save the rest of it for later on. There may be a change or two forced before we get through all our coverage for the season. We'll let you know about that later on.
Again, that's just a reminder that Kickapoo Glendale game was scheduled for Tuesday, February 7th, was moved to Wednesday, February 8th.
Here we go into the third. Glendale down by 9 at Hillcrest, and here again is Mike.
Okay, Don, 17 points for the Hornets in the first quarter, 17 more in the second. Glendale 13 in the first, 12 in the second. Hillcrest trying to increase the lead of 9 here as we start quarter number 3. Jason Wood. Hanson had a terrific first half in double figures with 11. Majors, great dish to Wixon. Wixon with 7. Hillcrest has done a tremendous job of passing the basketball tonight. Very unselfish play. Scott Burrows has got to get things going here in the second half. Just 2 points in the first half. And you can say the same thing for Spud Harbor, Glendale's leading scorer at 18 points per game, just 3 coming on a 3-point basket in the first quarter. There is the third personal foul on Miguel Kobayashi.
So that only took, 41 seconds here in the third for him to pick up number 3.
Steele, the transfer from Georgia, with the layup. The ball poked out right at midcourt. Well, Gator Rivers put on a show at halftime, didn't he, with those little kids?
Yeah.
The ball handling skills haven't left him, I would say. Derek Majors guarded by Spud Harbor. Off the dribble for the jumper. Majors in double digits with 10. He's averaging 12 points per game, had 32 against Hazelwood East back on December 9th. His team, however, only scored 44. They lost 73-44. He's been scoring 32 of their 44. Ball lost out of bounds. And a turnover to the Hornets. Here comes Justin Baer back in for Glendale for Bobby Duncan. Nope, they're going to replace Scott Burrows. Well, Glendale's leading scorers are having trouble tonight. Harbor at 3, Burrows at only 2. There's a 3 ball out of the left corner, an air ball by Wood. Scramble for the loose ball, chased down in the corner. Good hustle by Steele to recover for Glendale. Falcons try and cut into this double-digit deficit. Off the screen, Harbor. Boy, Hanson just shadowing him. Nice shot by Spud Harbor in traffic. 46% shooter from the field. His season high 28 on an 18-point per game average. Now with 5 tonight. Glendale quickly back on defense. Majors jumper no good. Derrick gets it back in traffic, and Tim McKnight with a holding foul against Glendale.
And Hannah gets number 2.
Rosenberry for Duncan for Glendale.
You know what just hit me? If Wood had thrown that shot in with his back to the basket there at the end of the half, we could have been on ESPN Plays of the Week for the second time in our history, and both of them would have been here. We were on around the time frame Mark Bybee was here, and they were playing Parkview, and Shane Amstutz threw one in from 3/4 court, and it made ESPN Plays of the Week.
Jumper no good by Wixon. Oh, here's a break for Glendale. Spud Harbor with the layup. Got around Kobayashi, who couldn't foul him because he already has 3 personal fouls. A 4-0 run by the Falcons. Still down 7, 5 minutes left in the third. Majors in traffic. Kobayashi with an offensive rebound. Oh, it circles all the way around the rim and falls off. Spud Harbor with a stop-and-go move. Straight on 3, Rosenberry short. And no blue jerseys there for the rebound. Glendale gave up early on that. Maurice Starks at the scorer's table, getting set to check in. The Hillcrest student body trying to get their team a lift. Kobayashi close to getting a charging foul. No whistle either way. Could have been his 4th.
I'm surprised Sean didn't have much to say about that, because it could have been his 4th.
Spud Harbor just inside the foul line, can't buy it. Kobayashi out muscling Hanna for the rebound. Wixon with a touch pass to Wood. Halfway through the third, Hornets by 7. They led by 9 at halftime, 34-25. Hanson, Majors open 3, in and out. Glendale trying to push the tempo. Harbor for 3, yes. Second tray for Spud Harbor. 31 on the season, a 35% shooter from 3-point range.
Look out.
Yep, knew he was going to get hot sooner or later. Hanson, great feed to Kobayashi, a little too strong. Miguel able to keep possession, and Majors will just back it out and reset the half-court offense. Kobayashi. And again, Glendale with numbers. Steal, coast to coast, missed it. And a foul over the back on George Rosenberry. His 3rd personal.
Well, this didn't work out as well as the one on the other end in the first half for Glendale with the follow-up of the missed layup. And the Falcons going to head to the bench. Maurice Starks checks in, and the 30 is called by Ryan Shaw as he has seen the lead shrink from 9 to 4 here in the third quarter.
It's a great timeout call. 7-0 run. It was 38-27, now 38-34. Hillcrest will be home Friday night hosting Rockbridge. And we told you Glendale hosting their Winter Classic Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And the Falcons will play the Wyandotte Bulldogs from the Kansas City, Kansas area Thursday night at 7.
That's the Kansas side of KC, right?
Right.
And those Shawnee Mission teams, both from the Kansas. Half the field is Kansas
Apparently
teams.
This is an allowable tournament week for high schools in Kansas. They do things a little differently. You know, every high school seems to do stuff different. There's just certain weeks that high schools in Kansas are allowed to play in season tournaments, and this is one of the weeks this week.
Fair enough. Got to get them when you can.
Yep. Full court press by Glendale. Falcons are right back in it, down by 4 after being down by 11, 36-25 and 38-27. Majors and Hanson will work it on top. Man-to-man defense by Glendale. Hanson picks up his dribble and a steal. Spud Harbor for 2. Turnovers are killing Hillcrest.
Now another 30 called.
The run is 9 for the Falcons, a 9-0 run.
You knew Glendale had it in them from the start, but I don't think we expected him to close the gap to this close in just 5.5 minutes in the third quarter. But they have done it with steals, takeaways, Hornet turnovers, and then some easy shots like that one.
Well done. Spud Harbor with 9 of their 11 points. Tristan Steele has the only other 2 here in the third quarter. So, yeah, Spud Harbor, their leading scorer, has come to play in the second half after just the 3-point bucket in the first quarter. All he could muster offensively in the first 16 minutes. Another near steal by Glendale. Derek Majors will trigger the inbounds for Hillcrest. Sean Williamson likes what he sees so far here in the second half. In his 15th year, 252 wins, 159 losses. That's at 34-9, the number so far at Glendale High School. And a turnover. Majors stopped, was leaning the other way. The pass goes behind him, and Glendale will shoot for a tie, or a three-pointer would give them their first lead since a 4-point lead at 8-4 back in the first quarter. Rosenberry, Spud Harbor. Drives, kicks it out to Rosenberry. Backdoor cut, Starks. Dribbled it out of bounds.
Trying to walk the tightrope down there on the baseline, but not able to stay off of the orange line.
Wixon turns it over.
Nice
Starks,
poke.
yeah. And then stolen back by Hillcrest. Watch out and be careful. Could have got a little physical. The Falcons again will shoot for a tie.
Here, Burrows got the whole thing started with that poke.
Yep. Starks, not to beat. .90 seconds left in the third. Hornets by 2 with the ball. They were up by 9 at halftime, 34-25. The lead grew to 38-27 before this current 9-0 run by Glendale. Wood drives on Starks, and a traveling violation. Brian Shaw says, how could that be traveling, as he was dribbling?
Kind of what I thought.
Final minute of play here in the third.
Falcons still look for a tie or a lead.
Harbor and Hanson, what a matchup that's been tonight. Baseline, Burrows drives, draws contact, no foul called. Shot rejected by Wood, but the ball recovered by Glendale. Spud Harbor for 3 in the lead. And the rebound to Derek Majors. Great feed to Kobayashi. Nice fake for 2. Kobayashi playing with 3 fouls. That's his first points of the night. Averaging 7. Finally gets his first 2. And the lead back to 4 to stop the 9-0 run. Down to 14 seconds. That's turnover. Ball stolen away by Kobayashi.
This could be huge for Hillcrest.
And they'll have the arrow to start the fourth quarter as well. So this is like 2 possessions here. The drive by Majors, no good. Buzzer sounds, and the Hornets will have the ball to start the fourth with a 4-point lead, up 40-36 on Glendale. Mike McClure, Don West back at Hillcrest High School. Glendale outscored Hillcrest 11-6 in the third. It's still the Hornets by 4, 40-36, entering the fourth. And here's Don.
And Spud Harbor had 9 of the 11 for Glendale in the quarter. He's up to 12 points now on the night. Wixon touched up and in by the freshman Brock Schaefer. And that's a huge basket. The Hornets, they had to get something out of that 2-possession situation they were in. They extend the lead back to 6. Glendale got as close as 2 in the third quarter. Burrows and Rosenberry now back out front for the Falcons, and around the horn, Thad Hanna Into the corner. Harbor, they'll keep a man spotted on him, and now Rosenberry drills a three.
31% shooter from beyond the arc, 6 for 15. That was a confident stroke by George Rosenberry.
And a foul coming down. Spud Harbor gets his first. Team fouls are just 2 apiece with 7 minutes to go.
Justin Bear in for Thad Hanna for the Falcons. They got a little physical there in the third quarter, and referees let them play.
Actually, they got 3 on the board, and that's right for Glendale now. That's a charge on Hanson. And the first on him.
Hanson didn't score in the third quarter after 11 in the first half. No doubt about that call.
Now it'll take a 3 to tie for the Falcons, but a lot of time to go in this one. Harbor got down a little too low, but he was forced down there by Schaefer. And will earn the free throws. Brock Schaefer, the freshman, fouling this time, but getting his playing time based on his defensive ability.
Showed what he can do offensively 2 games ago with 17 against Rolla. Okay, Glendale 1 for 4 from the free throw line. Hillcrest 1 for 2. This is just the 7th free throw attempt of the game.
Bud Harbor with 13 on the night now. And the lead is 1. It's as close as Glendale has been in the second half.
Harbor the best free throw shooter for the Falcons at 84%.
Majors going to work and fouled by Tristan Steele. And that'll be on the floor. Second personal on Steele. The 4th on Glendale, and Hillcrest inbounds underneath. Wixon working on Justin Bear. Here's Kobayashi looking for some help.
Hillcrest kind of hesitant to shoot the basketball. They need someone to take charge offensively.
Majors bangs it off the glass. Falcons go for the lead. Around the horn, the 3 goes down for Spud Harbor. First lead since mid-first quarter for the Falcons. Right down low to Schaefer, and he's fouled by Harbor.
Good foul by Spud, just his first personal. Did not want to give up an uncontested layup. Had no choice but to foul Brock Schaefer.
So here goes Schaefer to the line for the first time tonight. Cool and confident with the first, and now he needs this one to tie it at 44.
Would be the 3rd tie of the game. We were tied at 2 and 21.
And now 44 with 5:38 to go. Harbor blocked by Schaefer on the baseline.
Just the 4th team foul on Hillcrest, so neither team yet in the bonus.
That's a turnover. It came into Burrows, and he lost track of it. Wixon finds Majors against the press. Kobayashi for Schaefer again, but Steele is in his way. Schaefer and Steele hooking up again, and the freshman brings it back out. Wixon draws a bump, but no call, and he puts it in anyway. Now Harbor spins it off out of the corner, and Hillcrest a chance to build a little late momentum if they can keep it on the floor. Kobayashi up and under, and out of bounds. Hang on.
No foul call, Ryan Shaw. Can't believe it.
Tim McKnight's going to get some help, and at least Hillcrest is going to get the ball.
The way it looked like Kobayashi was fouled.
Wixon corrals it out front. Here's Hansen with a spin, ducks underneath Rosenberry and misses.
Hansen still yet to score here in the second half after 11 points in the first 2 quarters.
Burrows in against Kobayashi. Here's Steele from 3. Tristan Steele with the long ball to make it a 47-46 lead, and now Kobayashi fouled. And Steele gets his 3rd.
Kobayashi, strong foul on Steele. And we'll see if Miguel, a 67% free throw shooter, can tie it up.
Not yet. We're under half a quarter. 3:52.
Starks back in for the Falcons, replacing Scott Burrows. Burrows a quiet 2 points tonight on an 11-point-per-game average. Spud Harbor has stepped up in the second half. 17 points, 14 in the second half.
Tapped out long to Kobayashi by Wixon. Down low to Wixon, and there's Starks for the foul.
And Don, for about a full 2 seconds, Wixon was jumping up and down trying to get Brock Schaefer's attention, saying, "Here I am, hit me." Second personal on Maurice Starks. So again, opportunities at the free throw line for Hillcrest to tie or perhaps take the lead.
There's the tie, and Wixon is the 3rd Hornet to hit double digits. Hansen 11, Majors, and now Blake Wixon with 10. Aaron Allen will return and replace Majors, probably not for too long. Hornets by 1. Here's Harbor going to work on Wixon, and he's rejected.
And a
technical.
foul. Wixon turned around and said something after the block to Harbor. And Jim Lawrence was standing right there.
He said it to Harbor, not to the official, so it's a taunting type of technical foul. Well, the Falcons will have some free ones coming with the game on the line, and let's see.
See, there's the block, and then I don't think, as you said, it was more the taunting than it was what was said. And check the lookout on the face of Wixon after the technical foul was called. No surprise, Spud Harbor to the free throw line for Glendale.
The second personal on Wixon, and how about this? Spud Harbor with a gift miss to the Hornets. 1 out of 2. 48 apiece. 3.5 minutes to go.
5th tie of the game.
And Allen just asking for a foul, and he gets it as he just is hanging all over Rosenberry.
Derek Majors for Aaron Allen.
Yeah, Majors right back in now.
As you said, Don, it was on like Allen was asking for the foul. Only 16 fouls on Hillcrest, so the next Hornet foul puts Glendale on the 1-1.
And Hillcrest already in the 1-1 on their end. But a couple of fouls away from a double bonus. How about this? 48-48. We approach the 9 o'clock hour at Hillcrest High School. Maurice Starks with a pull-up. The Falcons grab the lead. At 2:48 to go. Nearly, yeah, and it is a steal for Harbor. He keeps control somehow and puts it in.
20 for Spud, 17 in the second half.
4 quick ones for Glendale. Well, Kobayashi's going to drive for the 2 and get it. And timeout, Ryan Shaw. He'll take a full timeout with 2:26 left. We will pause from Hillcrest with Glendale on top by 2. Mike McClure, Don West, our entire crew here tonight at Hillcrest watching the Glendale Falcons fight for their lives against these scrappy Hornets.
We said in the pregame Hillcrest was a lot better team than a 4-11 record would indicate. We weren't kidding. I also said that Spud Harbor was probably going to have to be the offensive catalyst for Glendale. Boy, he has been in the second half. 17 points in the second half, 20 in the game.
Here comes Rosenberry. And Harbor. Steele with the drive, and that won't even get there. For the lead, Derek Majors leaves it short. Under 2 minutes. Timeout called by Sean Williamson at 1:49, and it's a 30.
Next held ball, possession arrow will be pointing the direction of Glendale.
Both teams are now in the 1-1, but not the 2-shot foul situation yet. Well, our next high school game, a little more than 2 weeks out now with lots of Missouri State Bears coverage coming in between. Parkview and Kickapoo and girls high school action Thursday night, February 2nd. From out on the prairie.
And being here in Hillcrest girls with their first ever win over Kickapoo dating back to 1974. Wow. Oh, Hillcrest. Glendale had 6 players on the floor, but Bear raced off before Tim McKnight handed the ball to Starks.
Wow. Hanson fouls Scott Burrows.
Did you catch that?
Oh, yeah. What was somebody thinking?
So 2 on Blake Hanson. Scott Burrows, 65% foul shooter.
Nope. The door is still open for the Hornets. Majors will go for the lead. Missed again. Kobayashi couldn't get it. Starks pulls it down with 1:35 left.
Boy, 2 great looks. Majors missing the open 3 and Kobayashi missing the follow-up. Now a game of keep away played by Glendale.
And who do you foul?
Anybody but Spud Harbor.
Majors fouls Rosenberry.
May not be very good. Rosenberry is 75% free throw shooter.
Okay, we'll add him to the list of those not to foul now then. Here comes Justin Bear legally into the game now. And Rosenberry with the 1-1. That makes it 3. And he'll go for a 2-possession advantage for Glendale with this one. Won't get it. Brock Schaefer The Hillcrest rebound, the Hornets.
Hillcrest does not need a three. There's still a lot of time left in the game.
Majors will go for the tie and nail it. They didn't need it, but it was a good shot when it presented itself.
His third three of the game. Sixth tie of the night. Will Glendale hold for the last shot?
Rosenberry drawing a little contact, brings it back out.
On the road in a tie game and 30 seconds to go.
Harbor avoids a 5 count there. Now to the hole, it's up and in for Thad Hanna. Timeout Glendale.
Hanna's first basket, he only had one free throw in the scorebook.
It's a full timeout. 23 seconds remaining in regulation.
You know, you wonder if Wixon would have been better off committing the foul and having him earn him from the free throw line, because he only has 2 personal fouls.
Nobody has more than 3, and it'll only factor in if we go overtime. Kobayashi with 3, Steele 3, and Rosenberry 3 on the foul list.
Well, now the pressure back on Hillcrest in the last 23 seconds.
This would be a good one to watch again. Catch it Wednesday and Friday evening at 6 o'clock here on the Mediacom Connections channel. We picked a good one tonight at Hillcrest.
Hornets with 3 players in double figures. Majors with 13. Wixon 11. Hanson 11. But for Blake Hanson, no points in the second half. Jason Wood hasn't scored in the second half after scoring 8 in the first 16 minutes.
Watch for Majors when we get to the other end. He's going to throw it in, and Hanson will bring it up. The Hornets need 2 to tie, 3 for the lead. Rosenberry covering up Majors. Timeout Hillcrest. And Majors slow in getting up and limping. Right there as he looks at the scoreboard, Derek Majors would be the go-to guy for Hillcrest with 9.7 seconds left. Right there. And will Ryan Shaw set up a 2 or a 3? Down by 2 points on his home floor.
Don't forget about Blake Wixon.
He would be the 2-point and a foul candidate. .7 seconds. Hanson will bring it in. Major's ankle seems okay. Hanson working against Duncan, will lean in and draw a foul. Is it 2 or 3? It appears to be 2. Brent Baldwin pointing to the 3-point line. The foul on Duncan.
I don't know if we'll have the replay or not, but I think the officials were correct. It looked like his foot was on the line.
And Hanson will need both of them to tie it up with 3.2 seconds left. Here it is.
Oh, it was behind.
I think he was behind. But he'll only get 2. Money on the first one.
His first point of the second half, and Sean Williamson wants to try to ice him on the second free throw. He'll call a timeout. 30-second timeout. Could we get one more look at the shot attempt? We'll see it here in a second again, but first instincts, Don, I'm like you. I thought maybe his foot was on the line.
Because he was leaning so far and had so much momentum toward the basket.
Yeah. Well, what's done is done. He'll have to obviously make the free throws. Would have had to make 2 of them anyway to to force the tie with 3.2 seconds. Ryan Shaw says, get back over here. Well, Blake Hansen is Hillcrest percentage-wise best free throw shooter at 77%. And considering he hadn't scored at all in the second half, confident on that first one. And again, this would be for a tie.
No! And a Hornet foul at 1.3.
Don, there's still time for Hillcrest. Even if Glendale makes both free throws, it's still a three-point game, and there's a chance for Hillcrest on a three-point basket. So this game is not over. And it will be a 1-and-1 opportunity for Maurice Starks. Just the 9th team foul on the Hornets.
Starks got it. Now for a three-point lead.
Do you miss this one on purpose and try and tip the rebound up in the air?
Wouldn't be the worst thing to happen if he did miss it. Gets
timeout, Hillcrest.
And they'll have to set up a long inbounds pass and a quick release just to tie. 57-54 Glendale at 1.3 seconds left.
Now, let's turn the tables. Do you foul if you're Glendale? How many times do you see a team down 3 in a last possession situation and the opposing team that's up by 3 doesn't foul? Obviously, you're not going to try to foul a kid shooting a 3, but you foul now, put them on the free throw line. They can't beat you on the free throw line with 2.
They can do 1 in the intentional miss and
hope.
And that's a long shot at best.
And with only 1.3 seconds, depending on how fast the clock goes after the miss when the ball's touched.
But if you don't foul, you're guaranteed of no worse than a tie. So Majors is going to throw it in. The 6'5" Michael Frazier is going to guard the inbounds man. Hillcrest needs 3. And it's going to be broken up, and Glendale slips away with a 3-point victory. 57-54. One of the better games of the season goes to the Glendale Falcons tonight at Hillcrest. Glendale comes back to win it over Hillcrest, 57-54. The Falcons are 12-4. They stay unbeaten in the Ozark Conference at 3-0. Hillcrest, a hard luck loser again, 4-12 and 1-3. Hillcrest just can't get over that hump.
A 9-point lead goes aside because of the efforts of Spud Harbor. He was the difference in the second half, and you credit the Glendale Falcons. They played terrific defense in the second half, forced Hillcrest to kind of get out of their game a little bit. Hornets just had some tough luck shooting. And Don, they had the right guy at the free throw line at the end as Hansen misses the second free throw that could have tied it up. Well, sometimes they go, sometimes they don't. 20
points in the game for Harbor with 17 in the second half. Here's a look at some of the second half highlights of this game. Hillcrest had a 34-25 lead at the half before Glendale started chipping away.
Again, some three-point shooting by Glendale in the second half. There's the long-range jumper by Spud Harbor. He had 3 threes in the game and a total of 20 points.
Tough shot by Wixon.
And then the steal, the turnovers began to mount up. Spud Harbor with the easy basket in transition.
The third quarter really hurt Hillcrest turning the ball over.
Yeah, they were outscored 11-6 in the third quarter. There is the drive by Thad Hanna for his only basket of the night.
And the Falcons win it, 57-54. The 20-point night for Spud Harbor. Maurice Starks with 9 off the bench and Tristan Steele with 11 in double figures for the Falcons. Hillcrest gets Derek Majors with 13, Blake Hansen 12, and Blake Wixon with 11 to lead the charges for the Hornets, who are going to find a way to get over the hump in this season, you can bet.
And watch out come district time. I mean, this is a team that is going to be tremendously dangerous. I don't know where they'll get seated in their district. The district, by the way, will be at Glendale, so the Falcons will love that home court advantage. But Hillcrest is a team that's proven they need a break. They're there. They are doing everything right. Tonight, just a tough one to swallow for Ryan Shaw.
They'll be a sleeper in that district, no doubt. Well, our next high school action will be a couple of weeks down the road. You can catch this game once again at 6 o'clock Wednesday night and Friday night and see one of the best high school games of the season tonight here at Hillcrest. On our next high school game will be Thursday night, February 2nd, 7:30, live at Kickapoo, the Parkview Lady Vikings and the Kickapoo Lady Chiefs. Remember, Missouri State Bears basketball coming between now and then. Thursday night, the Bears hosting Southern Illinois in live coverage at 7 o'clock here on the Mediacom Connections channel. So until then, for Mike McClure, for Corey Riggs, and all our crew here at Hillcrest, I'm Don West. Glendale comes back to beat the Hornets 57-54, and good night from Hillcrest High School.